Looking at my list from last time, and one of the things that I had on there was I trust the choices of my children. Now, I don't think that I've actually am always doing that, but I feel like I'm doing it a little bit more than I was before.
And see, that's baby steps. That's all that matters. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll
Because,
probably have some like I'll rephrase it again. Um, and then this is the welcoming inside from the one that we did last time because I
okay.
created that template. So the template is still in the school. It just sits there, can be downloaded and printed off again and filled
Yeah.
out
I
if
was
you
going
want
to
to go back.
ask you. Yeah. I was going to ask you about that. Here's
Yeah.
my
Nice.
template. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's nice to have
so
the organized that way, I think, right?
yes.
So I might, oh my goodness, is this really? This book is practically full, and I didn't even notice. I've only got like two or three pages left. So I think I'm gonna print off one of those templates while we're talking. So um,
Yeah. I was just looking at this list right now too and saying, oh, look at that. It says um, take care of Medicare because I was having a lot of trouble with that at the end of last year. And now that is all taken care of. Everything is all done. And then, and I had some other stuff on the list, but that was one of the things that I can just go, okay, check. And it was not an easy thing to take care of. It's not like it is in Canada where you just kind of roll over into being taken care of. As a senior here, you have to jump through hoops and red tape, and it's a little bit daunting.
mhm.
And you know, it the way everything is right now is just very daunting. So I'm trying to keep politics in the back room and take care of what I need to take care of with what's in front of me and keep them separate. So that was a big thing for me. And now I can start on my list is something to take care, moving forward with taking care of my health. So I have appointments set up and now I just have to follow through. And one of the things that was on my list was cataract surgery, and that was done on Thursday last week. And so I am healing and looking forward to that part being over. But there's a lot of little things that need to be taken care of. So,
Yeah, lots of extra appointments I find whenever you have something like that, like
yeah, there's extra appointments. And then, like I said, the healthcare part that I'm doing, I have it with my physician, my general practitioner. I have to have an appointment with my endocrinologist for bone density, and I have to, and then my bone density scan. So there's just a lot of a lot. So I'm just going like, okay, but it's ticking it off. I've made those appointments. I'm doing it. I'm being proactive. And that's what was on my list of things to do. And now I can just start saying it's being done, and focus on what exactly I want to be done. Like I wanted my eye done. Now I want something else. So
yeah,
it's a deep breath and a just
yeah,
tick, tick, tick.
checking the things off your list, I think, right? Like,
Yes.
okay, this is done and now that's over. I don't know what I did with the template here because I'm like it's not in where I thought it would be is in the welcoming in chat.
Ah,
So I don't know what I did with it, so I'm going to make sure that I add it into the freebie section because that's kind of where like templates would belong because it's not, there's no charge for that. You're going to use it or you're not going to use it. But the template
right.
is nice because then you don't have to think about it too much. So I want to do a general description of what we're starting with is the things that we don't want and how
Right.
that works.
Yes. So, for example, I'm on my letting go. I put letting go first and then I put welcoming in. And I want to let go of physical pain, joint and muscle. And so, but what do I want to bring in? I want to bring in wellness, physical wellness, and I can be more specific about that. Does that mean welcoming in exercise or physical therapy or, a doctor's appointment that helps me get all of that rolling? But I need to do that. So one usually is, well, you let go of something and then you bring in something that helps you fill the the letting go part. So if it's letting go is physical pain, what are you going to bring in to help let go of physical pain? So that's what I'm doing. And then I also put, procrastination, letting go of procrastination. There's some things that, I feel like sometimes procrastination is a blessing because sometimes if you jump too fast, you get, things don't work out. But I also find that always procrastinating is not good. So I'm just going like, okay, I have to fine tune my procrastination. So again, I'm focused on health this time. So it was procrastinating with health, which means I have to make my appointments, make sure, one of the things with my health insurance is finding a new dentist. Well, I've procrastinated finding a new dentist because I don't want to. I really like my dentist. Yeah, but I have to put that on the list of how to make sure that I'm not procrastinating on things for my health that are important. So, I have to let go of the procrastination and do the things that need to be done. So, those are two things that I have on my list right now. And there's a couple more coming. I can feel it in my bones, as they say.
Yeah,
So,
I like to think of it this way. Like if one of the things I'll say is if you want a new couch, for example, the best thing to do is get rid of your couch. Because when you get rid of your couch, you're creating this space that naturally
right,
wants to be filled with something, and people, and I've seen that in my life. I didn't buy my first TV until I was in my 40s because someone was always giving me a TV. My TV would die, I'd throw it out, and someone else would give me a TV. I did that for my 20s and my 30s. So here is the template. I did find it. I'll just make sure that this is in the freebies section.
excellent.
So it just kind of has you
Where?
start
The freebie section? Where?
in the school of perimenopause.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Yeah,
Because
I
I
know.
used to put the stuff in the group, but then people couldn't find it anyway. And then I would put it in a Google Drive, and people couldn't find it. And like, so it's like my coach was like, just put everything, all of the classes, all of the speakers, all of the free stuff, all of the handouts, everything that you do is in one spot. And then the people that want to participate in this workshop just subscribe to the School of Perimenopause. They get all that other stuff included, as well as, you know, being able to do the workshop. The workshop is for anyone who subscribes at bronze, silver, or gold. And I recently just had someone, another person, like people definitely love to give me heck about charging for stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but when I was giving everything away for free and just doing it all for free, people wouldn't show up and then they wouldn't get the benefit from it. And it was so frustrating. It was like, I don't want to just be giving away stuff for free and have people not really get the benefit of doing it because they don't show up. But
Right.
how can I do that and also make it easy? So the subscription,
You're,
it starts at $20 a month. It's not very big, but let's say you really needed help with sleep and you went for the gold subscription, you'd get access to all 21 days of the 21 days to fix your sleep as part of that,
right.
and then you can just downgrade when you're done. I'd appreciate it if you'd stick around at gold for a while and take advantage of all the stuff. But it's more
You can
important.
bounce up and down to
Yeah,
what your needs are. Yeah.
yeah. Like I have one person who started at the highest level and then she dropped out for a while and then she came back at the lowest level and now she's in at silver and
Yeah.
whatever because there's different access to different stuff. But I'm just gonna call this the letting go and welcoming in template. So this way you have like something to start with instead of trying to figure out what the heck am I doing.
Right.
I think it's always easier to start with what you want to let go of because you might not really be aware of what you want to bring in. You're not thinking I want to have less body pain. You're thinking, get rid of this terrible body pain. So it's kind of
Right.
more natural to start with what you're letting go of,
Right.
what you want to see the end of, or especially like symptoms, right? Like
Right.
not being able to sleep being one of them, or um, there's lots of help for any number of different symptoms that you might have trouble with. So um, I'm really still struggling. I mean, I've done much, much better, honestly, uh, with the whole um, issue that I'm having in my family and just being obsessed, like having obsessive thinking and not being able to let that go, not being able to stop thinking about it.
Right.
I don't have, like, I can't say I have great success with it. I'm not having like, wow, I really don't think about that at all anymore. It comes up all the time. Like even today, it's kind of a pisser, but I'm just trying to do my stuff and on Facebook, and then I'm getting memories, which is nice. Memories in general is nice, but unfortunately, when you have a case of people in your family that have stopped talking to you, when those pictures come up with those people, it's actually very painful. And
Right.
I don't really want to, I don't know if I've said this to you before, but I don't want to carpet the world. I think that's what's happening with a lot of people right now, where they're just like, I don't like this, and I don't like this, and I don't like this, and I don't like this. So I'm just never going to look at those things again
Right.
because they bug me.
Right.
So I'm just not going to look at it anymore. And that's, is that really realistic, and is that really healthy? Like that, I don't think that it is necessarily healthy to carpet the whole world, because for one, you're not aware of what's going on, and that might affect you, right? You're living in California, there are things going on that might affect you. You might want to know what's going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can say, in all honesty, I do not put the news on, like on the television. I hear things regardless.
Yeah.
And I have to do my own research because there's so much stuff going on here. And somebody, it's like, my husband always says, somebody always tells you for your own good. So it's like it comes up in conversation and you just sit there and you smile and nod. And depending on what side of the fence people are, I've decided I no longer want to have that conversation with people because I don't want to debate. I want a friendship. And if I have a debate, the friendship isn't there anymore because now either you're on my side or you're on my side. There's no common ground because you have to be this or you have to be that. And I don't want to have to pick. I like to pick a friend for a friend's sake.
Yeah.
And so there's so much of that here right now that I'm having a hard time. So I'm going like I need to set a boundary and what that looks like. And I know what's going on. I hear things. I know what's going on. I do research when I hear it. I don't believe everything I see on Facebook or on the internet. So I'm trying to be very aware. But it's really hard to be here right now and to hear everything that's going on. And God bless my family in Canada who keeps me in the know because it's from another country
Mm-hmm.
and what they know. I said, so, it's different than hearing it from your neighbor when you're living in the chaos, and hearing what it looks like from the outside in. So, it's going like, okay, and everybody is even cautious with me, like, what side are you on? I don't want to offend you. And I'm going, okay. So I've had to set boundaries with this, and that's okay. I think it's different than what you're talking about with family and not doing this and not doing that. This is purely, political, and I'm just going like I can't. I just don't want. I want to have my friends, and I don't want to have to deal with what your political beliefs are. It's to me, it's I don't care if you're Jewish. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Catholic. I don't care if you're spiritual. I don't care if you're Democrat. I don't care if you're in the middle. I don't care. Are you a good person? Are you going to get my back when I need someone to get my back? That's all I care about. I don't, we need to stop feeding into the garbage. And I think that's, for a lot of things, and our brains can, especially in perimenopause and menopause and postmenopause, since menopause is only a day. Um,
I know, eh?
Postmenopause is the rest of your life. It's hard to sit there and stop your head from going in directions of why aren't they talking to me? How come I haven't heard from them? This just happened to me, and how come nobody's checked up on me? It's like I got to stop doing that too. I just got to go with, well, everybody else has a life too, it's
Everybody has a
okay.
life, yeah, and that's one of the things
So,
that they're definitely like the symptoms are like, just for example, like you said, body pain.
right,
I've had a lot of that myself,
right.
right, as well. Um, but with body pain, that can really affect your perspective on what's going on
Yes.
as well, right? So if you're not having body pain, things going a little sideways might be annoying or difficult and, not
Right.
fun or stressful in some way. But if you're having body pain, having things go a little bit sideways can be very stressful because we just don't have as much resilience. Our cup is already full dealing with the body pain. And,
Right.
definitely, I've definitely noticed. So I'm going to write down feeling sorry for myself.
Yep. Because
You're,
that's pretty basic. Yeah, that's a pretty basic way of saying how we're feeling, and that's just it. You sit there and you go, instead of worrying about, for example, how certain people didn't contact me. Well, other people did. So why don't I focus on that instead of who didn't? Let's focus on who did.
Yeah, but it takes
So,
that energy and that's what I think the workshop. That's why I think it's really working and doing it on a consistent basis with the season change really does seem
right.
to give me. I really appreciate like having the chance to kind of reflect a little bit about where I was at the beginning of winter,
Yes.
how I was feeling about things. And I think that in terms of like compared to last winter I also had a lot of body pain.
Right.
But it was lessened this year because I think partially because I just wasn't going to put up with it the way that I did last winter. Last winter, I basically went, oh, I'm having body pain and went to bed.
Right.
And
Right.
if I wasn't working, I was in bed. And
Right.
I thought that that was the right thing to do because I felt that I needed the rest and I did need rest. But when you have too much on, like you just said, right, too much on one side or the other, that becomes at a certain point now you've rested so much that you're not doing your muscles any favor because you can only
Right.
relax so much and now you've got a pile of things on your list that you didn't deal with,
Right.
stuff that
And you're
you're
atrophying.
yeah you're oh basically right, that's how I
Yeah.
felt. And then
Yeah.
this year instead I have a new doctor, so instead of just going, okay, I fell down and re-injured my back that had been healing. And then instead of waiting to see how that would play out, I went back and saw the new family doctor right away and said, I'm having back pain again.
Right.
And she referred me to her dad, who's also, he's an amazing doctor and he's really good with pain and he's doing a weird needling treatment. Don't ask me to tell you what it is. I actually don't care. All I care about is that it works. And that's been really good. So it's not that I'm not laying down to rest, but like here's an example. Today I went to lay down and I was definitely feeling sorry for myself.
Right.
So not to shut it down or like force myself to not be feeling that way. Like, I said, okay, I acknowledge that I'm going through this thing and it is hard and it is painful. And I'm going to get up and I'm going to just have something to eat. I had got my little snack ready, like why did I just lay down and do nothing and feel
Right.
bad instead of having my snack? I should have just had my snack. So once I realized that's what I was doing, I got up and got the snack. And part of having the list, that's why I like once I have it done, I'll print it up really nice and pretty and then I'll put it up on my fridge so that it reminds me every day, you at least go to the fridge 3 or 4 times a day.
Right.
It's on there and then and it reminds me like I don't want to, yeah, I don't want to practice they call it spiritual bypassing, where you just go, well, I don't want to feel sorry for myself, so I'm not going to. Like, you have to acknowledge the fact and feel, okay, I am feeling this way.
Right.
It is painful
Right.
and it is hard, but I don't want to lay there in the bed until my back hurts even more.
From sitting on the bed. Yeah.
Yeah, from just laying in the bed, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
you can only sleep so much and you can only get so comfortable. So then I try to look for the opposite. So if I've got feeling sorry for myself on the letting go side, what would be the opposite of feeling sorry for myself? And it wouldn't necessarily be like I feel great every day because that's not realistic either.
No, no.
But something along, I like using those words like bringing in balance, you know,
Right.
um, keeping on moving through it, or I'll have to think about. That's the other thing that because I've talked to a lot of people about this workshop now, and it's like I can't give you a prescription for it. I can't tell you
The
what to say
No.
because
And I was just going to say your words for what looks like the opposite of feeling sorry for myself will depend on what you're feeling sorry for yourself about. So you're letting go is one thing, but you bringing in is going could be ours. I could say the same. I'm not going to feel
letting go
sorry for
part,
myself
yeah, yeah,
anymore. But my welcoming in is going to look completely different
yeah.
because I'm going to welcome in for a different reason than you are feeling sorry for yourself. My feeling sorry for myself could be completely different. So it's okay.
Yeah,
And that's
it's
all,
important.
actually, it's good.
Yeah,
Because, yeah.
it's how
So,
you get to know yourself even better, right? Because we're having a similar experience, right? I believe that I've joined your club now in the postmenopause world.
right,
We
right,
have to wait a full year to see if anything happens. But
right.
I stopped taking that pill in December. So January, February, March. That's practically 3 months, and I've had like
No indication.
no sign of any.
Okay, so you're this
I'm
close. Yeah.
probably done. Like my functional medicine doctor was like, if you actually got a period, I would be like shocked.
Shocked. Yeah. Yeah.
And I am feeling better in a lot of ways, but it's important to give yourself time to think about what your welcoming in declaration is, because that's really what you're going to end up spending your time and attention on.
Yes.
Because if you like, oh, stop feeling sorry for myself, that's got the negative bias in there, and it actually just creates feeling more sorry for yourself. So I mean, um, the opposite of feeling sorry would be like feeling accepted and respected and cared for,
Right.
those kind of things.
Right.
And then what that does give me is that cue as far as, okay, if I am feeling sorry for myself, I can go, okay, what is it that I want to switch into, you know?
Yeah. What mind frame do you want to switch to?
Yeah, I feel comfortable and accepting of myself. Because when you have that judgment, like it also there is an implied judgment as well. I feel sorry for myself, and that's
Right.
wrong and selfish and bad in and of itself, right? I'm
Right.
taking my energy and my precious life force energy and I'm wasting it feeling sorry for myself. But if you never acknowledge that side of it, that negative side of things, then you can't really, in a natural way, get to the positive side of things. You're just going to stay mired in it. Do you have worrying on your list this year? This time?
Yes.
Do you have specific worrying or?
No, just like it's like that's part of who I am is I like to worry. And I I just sit there and go, okay, I have to and I am now because it's been on my list for so long, I've become very conscious
Yeah,
of this is what I'm doing and I'm going, okay, I need to stop. There's nothing, it's not in my control. And that's the biggest thing that I think for me is that I worry about stuff that I have no control over.
yeah,
So if I have no control over it, I am wasting a lot of brain cycles worrying. And I could be doing something way more productive. So I had this I would say last 12 to 18 months, I couldn't do what I like to do because of my vision. And I like to do my crafts. And instead of crafting, I was either on the screen or I was worrying about stuff I had no control over. So I had to sit there and go, okay, I have to get rid of some of this stupid screen time. I have to find something else to do. And I was just so exhausted from trying to figure it out that nothing ever happened. Now I'm sitting here with, 4 days into my recovery from my vision and waiting for prescription lenses to happen in a month. But I'm just sitting there going, with readers, I might be able to do some of my crafting. I should pull that out and give it a go. So I'm going like, okay, let's give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? And the worst now that can happen is I have to wait till I get my prescription. But I'm going, even if I give it a try and it's limited, it's something I can do that I feel productive doing. So I'm going, I need to get back in that. And then there's a time frame for me where, they go, don't lift, don't bend, don't do
Yeah,
this, don't do
yeah,
that. And I'm going like, are you flipping serious? Like
yeah.
I completely forgot about that. And then I'm sitting there and I'm going, and like most families, as the lady of the house, you sit there and you're the one who takes care of a lot of the stuff. And I'm going like, well, no, I can't do the grocery shopping. I can't lift. I could go. I could push the cart, but I cannot I can't move stuff around. They don't want me cooking. I'm going, well, who's gonna cook in my house? I'm the cook, right? So, but we had to figure out solutions and we have, but it's just one of those things that you sit there and go, well, how do I resolve that? And I don't want I the worst 2 days were the first two for me because I couldn't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was a cloud and I was miserable. And I just sat there and went like, I felt sorry for myself. And I actually texted a friend on the East Coast who had just been through this and go, when does this go away? I can't stand this anymore. She's like, lol, give it another 24 hours and you'll be fine. And I'm going like, oh my God, I'm so impatient. I need to figure this out. And I listened to a book. This is the first time I listened to an audiobook. I have never done an audiobook before. And I went, after I listened to the whole book, I went, that was pretty okay. I might be able to do that. And on more than one occasion and have that be done. But it was something I'd never even bothered with because I could always do it myself. And I'm
Yeah,
going like,
yeah, and
but there's finding the solutions to your
yeah,
what makes you unhappy or what makes you uncomfortable. And then, but if you put it on the list, if I had had the ability to think, or that, somebody had whacked me on the head and said, Yvette, you're going to need to take care of this beforehand, I would have had it on a list of things to take care of. And there were things I said to my husband, like, well, I should have done that before. So I would have had this all done. But it was one of those things I just never thought about. So,
yeah,
you know, everybody's different in everybody's situation, and that's why we can't say, "Oh, this is the answer for you."
yeah. And even the
Even
worrying, like the worrying, I think, like that's why I was asking you about because we've both of us had worrying on every
yes,
time. But I'm
yes,
trying to get like specific, right? Not just generalized worrying about, but like specifically worrying about the kids. For me, this time I'm specifically putting worrying about my health because I do feel that I
yes,
am worrying about my health more now, which is interesting because I would probably tell you, like, if I did my symptoms list, my symptoms are much lessened. I'm having way less symptoms, but I'm
right,
having more worries about the symptoms that I have.
right.
So that's important. But I think
I'm having a
last
hot
time,
flash.
last time you were worried about you were fighting a lot with Tim or not fighting, but like worrying about the his progression with his
You're right.
stuff, which he told me has gone like really well. So he's in the clear now.
Yes,
So that's a big thing that's kind of like crossed off the list of like you don't there's no immediate danger to him and his health and well-being at this point right now because of the
right,
things that he's
right,
done to proactively take care of himself. But
right.
it's interesting how the mind will just now pick something else to worry about.
Yes, yes. It is. So it's like, and it's funny because even with therapy, and I'll say to Tim, "Oh, you don't have to worry about this," because that's not. you don't have control over this, so let's not worry about that. And he goes, how can you just say that? I said, I have to, otherwise I worry about it. I said, I am no different than you. I said, I would worry about something, but I'm trying to learn how not to be worried about stuff I have no control of. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not concerned. It doesn't mean I don't care. I do, but I have no control. So ruminating on it isn't going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of
Yeah.
those things that I'm going, well, or you have to hand the reins over to the person. And I think that's Tim's biggest thing is that with our kids especially, he doesn't want to hand the reins over because he doesn't believe they can take care of it. And I'm going, well, they're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, and he did. Like, when he grew up, his stepdad did not do him any. There was no coddling involved from
None,
David
no.
Bird. And when Tim and Martine and I were talking about it, he was talking about his abrupt removal from the family home,
Right,
and you know one of the things that Martine said to me about it was like, in so many ways, David Bird did him a huge favor because maybe he wouldn't have realized how capable and competent and able he is to come up with spontaneous solutions and to deal with problems and take care of himself if he hadn't been in that situation where he had to take care of himself quite suddenly, and then he did,
right,
and everything
right.
worked out,
And
and he learned how like smart and reliable and
it was certainly a quicker way of doing
wasn't
it.
a gentle
No, it was
transition,
not.
no.
No. And
But
neither
my
one
dad
of
was
us
similar
had
too,
that
right?
gentle
No.
or a gentle push into the world. We were sort of both given that ultimate, not even an
The
ultimatum,
push,
kind of, yeah,
the
kind
the
of
shove.
shown the door. And the thing is that it wasn't like we were bad kids. It wasn't like we earned the kick in the ass out the door kind of thing. We just kind of was the way it was, the way our parents were, and um, we had each other, which we were grateful for. So even back then, so it was just like, okay, he didn't know how to do laundry.
But I mean,
It was
all the things that it's kind of this when you have to figure it out, then you do. And that's one of the things that I like about doing this workshop is that we get the chance to think about, where am I at? What's working with what I'm doing? What did I need to change again? Like, okay, so I'm realizing I hadn't quite consciously realized before, but yeah, my worrying has kind of now just kind of slipped over into worrying about my health again, even though I'd
right.
been doing quite well with that. Or I have problems with my friends on here because I've had problems coming up with my friends where there's a big issue with honestly, people feel like that they need to buy my stuff or they can't be my friend.
Oh,
I don't know why they think that because I've at no point been like buy my stuff or I won't be your friend.
right,
But it's come up now. Two different people have actually said that to me to make me think like, okay, so is there something that I'm putting out there? And I don't think that it is. I just think it's more like I've changed.
right,
In the last 5 years, I've changed a lot.
right,
And I've gone from having like music lessons as one thing that I do to like now music lessons and coaching private and doing workshops and putting stuff on the school and doing interviews and all of these things that I'm doing a lot of different things. So whenever there's change in relationships, the relationship has to change with you,
mm-hmm,
right? It doesn't mean that the relationships will just continue going along the same way. But what I put on my list was like problems with friends and then allowing for problems to unfold and resolve because I have a really big problem with I want to just like get in there and fix it.
right,
And if it's something like that where things have unfolded over time and I've changed and the way that I'm doing things is different now, then that might be harmful actually, trying to force things to be a certain way or, you know,
right,
get things back
right,
on track, and that's not how healthy relationships work, right? I've
right,
learned that a lot with my husband where I'm very direct and I want to get in there and deal with the stuff. And he can be like that, but he's much more thoughtful as far as he'll give himself a lot more space to kind of think about it and see how he feels before he makes any sort of decision.
Right.
Whereas I'm much less comfortable with that kind of like uncomfortable space if I'm not really sure what's going on right now.
Right.
Whereas that's part of, where they'll always say that's where the good inspiration comes, that's where the great ideas happen, that's where,
Uh-huh.
problems get solved, is from
Right.
being in that discomfort, and in a way, perimenopause in itself is like a long extended time of just discomfort where things are, suddenly
Yeah.
changing and you can't get away with doing things that you did
Right. And you have to
before.
ask yourself what you need, just like a relationship, because you're having a relationship with yourself, whether it's with your husband or your child or your parent or whomever, your friend, getting into a good relationship with yourself. And that's one of the things you were saying earlier too on your list is just like you have to think about how things are working and how they work for you and how they work for the other person and how it comes together. But you really have to have a good relationship with yourself. And I think perimenopause is one of those places where we learned so much about ourselves that we didn't know. And you sit there and go, I had no idea, or it's like it's amplified. And maybe somebody around you doesn't notice it, but you do, and you're going like, wow. Like I can't tell you how many times I apologized to my husband because I thought I was being a bitch, and he would say, "Oh, really? I just like thought it was just one of those days for you or something. It's no biggie." But I'm going like, man, if that was somebody coming at me, I
Yeah.
would have been like, what's wrong with you? But I'm going, and there's things now that we can laugh about. And one of the, there's things that happen. Like my husband won't say he'll say he's wrong, but he won't say I'm right. And that happened this morning. And instead of being upset that he wouldn't say that I was right, I laughed and said, "So what you're saying is you're wrong and I'm right, but you don't want to say I'm right." And he goes, "See, now you're getting it." And we laughed instead of being upset, me being upset about it. But it's just getting past what would seem to the rest of the world as a, like you laughed right away. It's a really seems like a minor thing to somebody, but to me it was very serious. Why won't you ever tell me I'm right? Like, what's wrong with me being right? That's just, he's never changed, but apparently I have.
Well, and that's actually a good thing. And I kind of look at it also like a lot of the a lot of the things that we did to cope with the stuff that we didn't like or that wasn't really working for us was it took a lot of energy to pull those things up, right? And we had the resources to pull out the it's okay, I'll get back
Yes.
to you later on that, instead of being like, well, no, now I feel like I really need to deal with this right now. Is there any way we can just deal with that right now? And because I don't have the same energy reserves to like, not that I ever was good at pussyfooting around people. Like that's one of the realizations that I came to this morning when I was thinking about it. I was like, I've
Right.
never been that friend. The friend that was so great and you'd come to them and say, "Oh, I like this guy and but he doesn't really treat me very well." I was always the friend to be like, "Yeah, he doesn't treat you well. What are
Yes.
you doing?
Yeah.
This guy is not good for you." You know,
Right.
I've always been that friend, and that means that the people that want to hear that kind of level of the truth enjoy that from me because they know if I don't like him, I'm going to just tell them that I don't think,
Yeah. Right. And
this.
somebody else might be the person who, if they don't have anything nice to say, wouldn't say anything at all.
Yeah.
They would just leave it and say, well,
But
you know,
but it's because you asked me, do you like him, right?
right,
If you don't ask
right.
me, I'm not going to offer that information.
Oh, correct.
It's
Okay,
only if
okay.
you ask me, what do you think of this guy? Do you think he'd be a good boyfriend? And always handle with care is my advice in
Yeah.
any, when you're getting to know somebody, because people always come out with the best foot forward. But
Hmm.
I don't know how to put this, but I think I have a problem with, it's like taking it the wrong way, or not just like I have taking it personally, but it's not just that. It's like the kind of like a catastrophizing, you know
Oh yeah.
Like what's the
Oh yeah,
point
my
of it?
husband
Like
does
I'll
that.
just give up on like forget it, right? Like
Right.
but what would you call that? Like, you know, if it ain't happening, then it ain't happening. Like I'm just gonna I'm just
Then
gonna
it's done.
quit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's
It's like a
and yeah, that's
pessimistic
it's
pessimism,
it's well, I think it's more okay now.
powerless. Like, come on.
It's a lack of
What do you
patience.
lack of
It's a lack of
patience? Yeah.
patience because you want it done, you want it done now. And if it's not, then you think, well, they don't want to do it and it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So I'm done. But it's sometimes it's a matter of patience, and patience is a really, really hard thing to learn. And I find that if it's some people, if it's not, I can usually tell because there's people I know that sit there and you can push a button, for example, on your screen, push the button, or you can hammer it because it's
Yes.
not acting fast enough for you. So I'm the type of person who just pushes it and waits. I know you push it again, but I'm not going. But I know people who go, it's not working. Forget it. And I'm going,
Yeah.
but I think that it's slowing down and going like, okay, this giving the other person what they need as well as expressing what you need. So if you can express what you need and you can find some middle ground, I think that's what works. But it's really hard when you're so much that what one type of person, and if there's so much a different type of person, well, I need 3 days to think about it, and you're the person who wants it dealt with today. Well, a day and a half is going to seem like forever, and a day and a half is going to seem like way not enough time. So it's
Yeah.
going to be, so there's got to be some sort of agreement where you say, okay, this is how this is going to work. I need this. I want it done now. You need this much time. Can we have a compromise? What's a compromise?
Yeah.
And do that. And
Compromise. Oh
that's
yeah,
hard.
all or nothing. That could be one way. All or nothing.
Yes.
Because I said
Yeah.
impatient with my progress, and it's not really that negative thinking, but yeah, I think it is more like all or nothing because it's like, you know, if this
Right.
isn't
It's like, I'm
happening
going to go on a
today,
diet. I've been dieting for 48 hours. How come I haven't lost 20 pounds?
yeah,
It's,
where's my results? But I'm not usually like that, but
yeah.
I I have noticed, and I think in general, you know, we talked about that before, like in the stress response, right? So you,
Right.
where stress is going up and down all day, and that's what normally happens with our cortisol is moving and everything's in flux constantly. But somehow or other through perimenopause, we can end up with just like an overload where we're just always running at this a little bit. You know, like I said to Martine, like nothing's going on. Like yesterday, there was nothing
Right.
going on. There was no issues. There was nothing happening that was pressing. There was nothing that I needed to do. And I was like,
Right.
I'm at a 6.5. Like I'm
Right.
already, there's, what the hell, like how did, I should be at like a 4 or maybe a 2 even.
Right.
And
But your system is working overtime.
yeah, and
So yeah,
I'm already up. So like, you know, this morning I got up and I did a morning meditation, and that usually really helps to bring that stress level down. Like, okay, I am capable, and I have a plan of what I'm going to do today and how I'm going to get some things done. And
right.
but nothing I did work. Walking the dog didn't work. Doing my writing didn't work. Doing, you know, no, I was like, nothing's working.
See,
All or
and
nothing. All or
that
nothing.
happened last week with me. And just for example, I went to the surgeon for my eye, and my blood pressure is like, it's like a 16-year-old. I have great blood pressure. I went and it was high, and I was pissed.
That's
And
not
I'm
going to bring it
going,
down.
it's no, it's not. So, and she's going like, the nurse is going like, oh, well, is it usually lower? And, Tim was with me and he goes, yeah, it's usually like a 60 or like 120 over 60 or something crazy, right? And she goes, oh, really? And so I'm going like, okay, whatever. So, and we're walking out. I'm still talking to him about it. And and he's going like, okay, well, why don't you, when we get home, you can take it. And I'm going, so I get home and what do I do? Plunk on the couch and I take it. I'm just got out of the car and sitting down. I'm going like, I haven't even given myself 10 minutes to like breathe and get it up. Went to the hospital on Thursday morning or the surgery center to get my thing done. 121 over 60. I'm going, I'm in the surgery center now. I should be like wound up like a clock. No, I'm just lying there. Life is wonderful. Life is beautiful. I'm zenning out like I usually do when I'm in that situation. And they're going, "You're really calm." Yeah, I know. I don't know why this doesn't bother me. It's more the before stuff that does. But it came down and everything was fine. But it was like I was agitated about something I had really no right to be agitated about. They're blaming, oh, you have white coats. No, I don't. You have this. No, I don't. It's just, why is it doing this? Make it stop. And I wasn't getting my instant gratification by coming home and taking it again. So I stopped with doing that. And I just went like, no, I'm not going to bother. We'll just wait and see because there's nothing I can do about it. It's again, nothing I can do about it right now. I'm going in again next week. If it's still up and I check it again in a week and it's still I have other appointments coming up, then maybe it's time to have a conversation. But it came in the surgery center, it was normal. So I go on like, well, there you go. It's just patience sometimes, and you're thinking, oh no, another health problem. I don't need to have high blood pressure. And I go, so what raises your blood pressure? Doing all of that, right? So bring it down, bring it down.
Getting
Yeah.
all wound up for sure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So this is basically what we're working on for everybody to make sure that you get the list. So I just uploaded it onto the school again. Um, it does say winter. I just noticed 2025, but I just crossed it out. I just crossed it out and wrote in spring because
okay. Oh, there you go.
yeah, that works just fine. And then I over the next couple of days, like when I find myself going through something where, like all or nothing thinking or like that kind of thing where I'm agitated or something's bothering me or I really want to get rid of something, right? Like I notice if I'm being hypercritical of myself or if I'm basically anything. It could be symptoms, it could be hot flashes. Like when I first started this, I was having headaches a lot. I basically don't have headaches anymore.
Right.
Like I really haven't had any headaches in a long time. My the things sort of do come around again if they need to be dealt with, but there's no one and done kind of thing. That's why these are an ongoing workshop, and then we'll get together on Thursday and we'll go through and discuss and share with each other what we're working on, and then just let it unfold. I like to take my letting go list. I'll rip it in half and take the letting go and burn it outside
Mm-hmm.
in the chimney because it's nice to just watch it go. And
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like that's partially why I find this to be so effective is that it does just go.
Right.
And then even some things
And
on there like trusting the decisions of my children. That was when I first had that on the list last time. I was like, no way, right? I'm
yeah.
not. That's not happening. But when I looked at it this week, when I noticed it on my fridge, I was like, oh, I can now think of a few different times recently where I have actually felt like I have to trust, and I'm more able to trust that they're making decisions
And
that,
you've had some affirmations on that as well, where you've been contacted and said everything's good and you've seen it. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's not what you want by any stretch of the
no.
imagination, but you've had some affirmation as far as that everybody's okay and that the decisions that they're making is good.
Well, it's
So,
it's as good as it can be, right? And it's not my place to make those decisions. But
yeah.
I have thought like when we first started doing this, you had a particular situation with a person that was really negative, and it was really taking up a lot of your mental space at the beginning
Yes.
when we first started. And then was it about a year in where it just kind of spontaneous
Yes,
resolve?
there's yeah, she gets no more what is it called? No more
Mental
space
energy,
in my
no
brain.
ruminations. It's
Nothing,
gone.
nothing. No,
You got the
no.
chance to say goodbye in your own
Yeah,
way, and things
yeah.
really resolved as far as
And what I asked for, I got.
yeah.
And then I did follow through with the okay, now I'm letting it go and do what I needed to do which was best for me because I had no control over anything else, and I had to accept that I have no control. And
But
that's the
the
hardest thing,
that's
right?
the hardest thing, but that is the point of like if you were going to wait all day for the rest of your life for things to resolve with the other person, for the other person to come to a conclusion that they're now going to be in alignment with you again,
That's yeah,
maybe that would never happen, right?
right.
How many people go on their deathbed and say, "Oh, I wish I hadn't spent so much time being angry at other people and
Yeah, yeah.
told
And I
people how I
just don't
really felt." And that's probably the majority of us have regrets at the end of our life, and
right.
so it's not when you like even the symptoms. That's what I think about. Like part of writing them down and getting really clear on them is letting it go in terms of like this is what it is, this is what it looks like, this is how it's affecting me, this is what I'm going to keep, and this is what I'm going to let go of, and being really really clear about it instead of just being in this foggy mess where you know things aren't
Right.
working the way that you want. And when you let something like it's still external, it's happening inside your body, but it's still happening to you, right? Like when you're having those kind of symptoms,
Right.
the hot flash, for example, I remember when I was first like trying to figure out what exactly was feeding into it, and I
Right.
realized that I can kind of spark the beginning of a hot flash just by being agitated, just by thinking, "Oh my God, how is this ever going to work out, or what's going to happen with this terrible thing
Right.
that's happening?"
Right.
And I can also calm it down really quickly by going, "It's all working out in some grand scheme of things," and stay calm, and then it passes really really quickly as long as I don't jump on the train where I'm like, you know how bad is this going to get, this is terrible, why do I feel this way, I hate it so much, and all that
Right.
kind of, because that just feeds the beast as far as the symptoms go. Like pain, right? If you're having body pain, if you think about it in terms of cramps, when you're having cramps, if you sat there and you were like, "Oh my God, I'm having cramps, it's so terrible," and you kept telling yourself about a horrible, terrible situation,
Right.
it just gets worse and worse. You get more and more tense, makes more
Yeah.
and more cramps. But if you just go, "Well, it's just the way that it is," and I'll just sit on the beach and watch the waves for a while, and then
Right.
everything does kind of. It's when you're fighting against it, like when
Right.
that saying, "What you resist persists." So let it go, write it down, get really clear on what it is, and give yourself, like, I still haven't had something come to mind for the opposite of taking things personally, but I know my brain. I'll be walking by and I'll have a look at it and I'll just write it down one time, right?
Right.
Don't think like you have to have everything written in stone and you can't change it, because I know there have been times when we've been in the workshop where I've been like, "Oh, I have a better way of saying that."
Right. I've had crossed off or added to all the time. Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
And then you work with it, and it's amazing how many things just like, how did that happen? I don't know, but it did.
Yeah. Yeah. And it comes together, and you could have one item on each side, and that's okay. You could have 10 if you wanted.
Yeah.
You can as many as you want. One, if that's all you can manage, one is good. One is great.
You can fill up both
We
sides.
usually have 4 or 5. Jessica and I usually have around 4 or 5.
Yeah, right now I've got one, two, three, four. I've got five right now, and
Yeah.
I might end up having more.
Yeah.
But
And
I
some
had.
of them are repeat, right?
Oh yeah, like this one, accepting the limitations of my partner in meeting my needs. I remember when I put that down, and I was like, I don't think that's gonna happen, right? Because
Mm,
that's not him meeting my needs.
right.
That's me accepting that he has limitations, right? He's not a
Right.
girl. He doesn't really understand me. He tries to understand me, and I appreciate that. But there are certain, I have to tell him I just need a hug.
Right. Right.
Just give me a hug, and he'll
Yeah.
do it. But I have to realize that that's a limitation that he has, and that he's not really understanding what I'm going through right now.
He doesn't see the markers that Jessica needs a hug.
Yeah.
And
Whereas you
that's
might, if
okay.
you and I were in the same
Yes.
room, you're like, "Oh, she's feeling a little agitated. I'll just go and pat her on the head and tell her it's
Oh,
or
yeah,
whatever, right?
everything's going to
Like,
be okay. Or do you need a hug?
are you
You
hungry?
know? Yeah, or that's my favorite. Are you hungry? Do you need to go to the bathroom?
Did you have a drink today? Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Because sometimes
a
we
lot of
get a
these are
little
good.
caught up.
And I don't know if I told you this one, but I change my guitar strings every 3 months because I like it. And
Yes.
after I put that on my welcoming in list, I see it there on my fridge, and I was like, how am I going to do that? Right? How am I actually going to do this? And my sister-in-law gave me a gift card for Long and McQuaid, the music store in Calgary, my favorite music store. And I was like, I could take this gift card and buy three
A
packs of
rack of,
strings,
yeah.
and then I just have them there. And then the next
Change
time I
whenever
do
you
my
want.
list, I'll just change the strings again.
Right.
Bada bing, bada boom. I got new strings on my guitar, and then it just happened. So it is like, because I've had people be like, well, how do you make these things happen? It's like you find a way once they become top of your mind what it is that you want to bring in.
Right. It's like making dinner every day. It becomes a habit. It becomes something you just do. You make the kids lunch or you do whatever you do. You do it every day or you do it every so many months or whatever. Like you're doing your guitar strings every 3 months. Well, it's something that you do. You may clean your coffee maker once a month. You remember to do that, right? You can make that a thing. So, but it's one of those things that you have to, if it's not there, like I wouldn't think of doing that, for example. I'd have to have it as a reminder,
Yeah. Well, and even just
which
like
is fine.
if you let your brain call the shots and
Really?
your mind is just calling the shots. Here's what your dialogue is all day. You're a piece of crap and I hate my body and I hate my
You're
life is
right.
hard and my family's bullshit and whatever.
Right.
Like, you're just going to be miserable because the mind has that negativity bias, so we're just always kind of like, what's the next thing I got to avoid?
Right.
So to bring in this positive affirmations and working on the things that you want, it does take a concentrated effort to do that. But it does get easier. Like the first time we did the workshop, was just experimenting. Is this going to actually make any difference? I was floored. I couldn't believe how much of a difference it made.
Yes, it makes a big difference. I've done it before. This is a continuation of what I've done. I've gone through other groups with this, and it's great. I mean, Jessica says she takes hers to her chimney and burns it. I do one of two things depending on the fire season here in California. Either I take it to the beach, and if there's a fire pit that's still warm, I stoke it a little bit and I stick my list in there and burn it, or I shred it. And something about the sound of the shredder just gives me some sort of satisfaction. It's like you are so freaking gone. You are like gone,
Like
like burning
goodbye.
gone.
Yeah,
Bye. You're in
yeah,
pieces now. Trying to get that back together.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
And
so.
it's worth the effort to do it. Like it's I've had
Yeah,
people
and I
say,
go from our session right straight to the printer. Go goodbye. It's done.
yeah, yeah. I go
Yeah.
outside and just right if as except for when there was a fire ban, then I had to get a little creative to not be just going outside and burning it. But yeah, so that's what we're up for on Thursday this week, and everything is going to be in the school. So when you join and become a subscriber, then everybody's at the subscribing level. I can send you an email with the Zoom link because we meet like this and go over everything and you know yeah, it's I find it really fun. I'm looking forward to it. We're doing it a little bit earlier this time because I think the actual solstice isn't until the 20th or the 21st.
Right.
So it's a little bit earlier because it's a week earlier, but I think that's good because a lot of times that kind of towards the end of March people are getting really busy with like planning March break or school holidays and stuff like that. So it's a little
Right.
bit nicer maybe to get it done a little bit before. And so we'll be doing some Reiki afterwards, or
Yep.
yeah,
I can do that.
sounds great. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna let you go, and then I will see you on Thursday.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll talk before then too.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Yvette.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.